Scroll and Sword, welcome back. We just read 2 Corinthians 8 through 10, and I want to look at 8:13 through 15, where Paul reaches all the way back to the wilderness to teach the church how generosity works, because manna was never just about food, it was about trust. In 2 Corinthians 8:13 through 15, Paul quotes the manna story from Exodus 16 to explain generosity to the church. Did you realize that generosity was not a modern term that Christian pastors use to get you to give more money? Generosity goes all the way back to the Old Testament. It is rooted in the character of God and his vision for God's people. Did you know God's provision was never meant to stop with the person who received the provision? The manna that they received in the wilderness was not meant to stop with them, but it was meant for a deeper connection to the rest of the people. And in Exodus, the one who gathered much had nothing left over, and the one who gathered little had no lack. God was actually teaching Israel that provision is sustained by what? It's sustained by trust. It's not sustained by hoarding. There is a daily dependence on the provision of God. Everybody has what they need. Everybody has the salvation that they need, irregardless of what they put into it. David Garland says this, that Paul is not demanding forced poverty, but calling for a balance where abundance supplies another's need. You know, Christian generosity, it's not about guilt, it's about grace creating enough for the entire body of Christ. And the Greek word Paul uses for fairness or equality is isotes, which points to balance, equity, and mutual care. And unfortunately, the culture of our day has taken over some of those words specifically, but a biblical viewpoint is that Paul is saying we as the body of Christ need to be fair with each other, with the blessings that God's given us individually. Let's make that corporately whenever we can. And it's the goal is not everyone having the same amount, but no one in the family of God being abandoned when they are in need. And the surprising connection is that manna spoiled when people tried to store it in fear, showing that hoarded possessions, hoarded provisions can become corrupted. If you have something that the Lord has given to you, he gave it to you to use it, whether that's personally or corporately. And if you just bury it in the ground like the man did in the parable of the talents, it will become corrupt. You know, when blessing turns into self-protection, it stops looking like trust and it starts looking like fear. That's what Christian hoarding does. When you hold on to the blessing that God gives you, it's proving that you fear what will happen if you trust God and let it go. You know, Paul, he's asking Gentile churches to care for Jewish believers in Jerusalem, turning generosity into a sign of one new covenant family. Giving becomes more than charity when it proves the gospel has made divided people one people. When we step into a church, we do something every once in a while called a flash mob. And it's not a flash mob like, you know, you're walking through Times Square or you're walking through a grocery store and all of a sudden everybody starts singing some musical type song from Broadway. It's like, what the heck is going on here? No, like we call it a flash mob because we all just come up and give an individual or a family financial blessings because they need it. And when that happens in our church, we never feel more united. Giving becomes more than charity when it proves the gospel has made divided people one. God does not provide so we can hoard it in fear. He provides so grace can move through us and meet the needs around us. All right, love y'all. See you in the discussion room.